All right, let's jump right in. We're living in this wild time where machines are not just getting faster, they're getting smarter. But what does that actually mean for us? For leaders, for anyone trying to build something new? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack here. How to lead in this new algorithmic age. And I want to start with this quote because it really hits home. Look, this isn't science fiction anymore, folks. We've gone way past just creating simple tools that we program. Now, we're dealing with systems that can actually teach themselves. And they're gaining skills that can match or even blow past what humans can do. And that one shift, well, it changes absolutely everything about how we need to think about technology and business. So, to really get a handle on what's happening, you have to understand this isn't just another software update. It's not just the next phase of the digital revolution we've been living through. No, this is something else entirely. We've entered a completely new age. For years, the big mantra was big data, right? Just collect more of it, process more of it. But honestly, that was kind of missing the point. The real game changer isn't the amount of data, it's what these new systems can do with it. They can learn on their own. They can spot patterns that are completely invisible to the human eye. And the difference here is it's fundamental. Think about it like this. In the last digital revolution, we were the programmers. We had to write every single rule step by step. But now we're more like coaches. We just set the goal, and the system figures out how to get there all by itself, finding pathways and patterns we never would have even thought to program. It's a total flip of the script on what our role is. Okay, so this naturally leads to a pretty massive question, right? If these systems are getting so darn capable, what's left for us to do? Where do we, the humans, even fit into this picture anymore? And the answer, which is pretty cool, is that we're still in the driver's seat. It's just that our job has changed. Our place isn't on the factory floor anymore, doing the repetitive tasks. It's in the design studio. Our role is shifting away from execution and towards pure imagination, dreaming up what's possible, coming up with new worlds and experiences that these incredibly powerful systems can then help us build. And this really gets to the core of it. A leader's job today, and you see this with visionaries like Masayoshi Son, isn't about getting bogged down in the nitty-gritty of the process. It's about having a really strong, almost crazy vision of the future, and then working backward from there, using all these amazing algorithmic tools to actually make it happen. Okay, so if our job is to imagine the future, where do we even begin? Well, the answer is always with the customer. But here's the twist. We're not talking about today's customer. We need to meet and understand the forerunner generation, the people who are already living in the future we're trying to build. So who are these forerunners? Well, think about your own kids or your nieces and nephews or any young person you know. They're the very first generation to grow up completely surrounded by AI. For them, it's not some new, shiny thing. It's just normal. It's baked into everything they use, part of the very fabric of their world. And because they've grown up this way, their mindset is completely different from ours. Their expectations are on another level. See, for them, AI isn't some tool you pull out of a toolbox. It's the environment they live in. They just expect things to be seamless, predictive, and totally personalized. So if we want to lead into the future, we've got to start by learning from them. Okay, and understanding this forerunner mindset, it leads us straight to the central point of this whole discussion. This is where we uncover where the real value, the real opportunity is hiding in this new age. So let's just ask the big multi-billion-dollar question. In this new world, with these new customers, where is the greatest business value actually going to come from? Is it still about having the most efficient factory, the tightest supply chain? Nope, the game has changed. The value is shifting. In the past, the big win was using tech to optimize all our internal stuff, our operations, our infrastructure. But the future? Oh, the future belongs to the people who can use algorithms to create amazing, compelling, unforgettable external experiences for their customers. The focus is shifting from what's inside the building to what the customer feels outside of it. So the question is, how do we do that? Well, here's a really powerful framework to think about it. The wheel of algorithmic experience. It's basically a three-step loop. First, you've got intentions. This is about digging deep to understand what your customers really truly want, not just what they happen to buy. Second, you look at their interactions. These are the digital breadcrumbs they leave behind, showing you what they actually do, not just what they say they do. And third, you have to grasp their identity, who they see themselves as, what they believe in. When you can connect those three things, that's when you can start designing experiences that are truly compelling. So, after all this, we're left with a totally new way of thinking about business. And that leads to a new and I think much more powerful question that every single leader should be asking themselves right now. I want you to really think about this for a second. In the old world, the big question was always, who are our best customers? What's their age? Where do they live? But in the algorithmic age, there's a much more valuable question to ask. What are the ideal behaviors that make our platform, our product, our community thrive? It's a huge shift, moving from a static who to a dynamic what. And answering that question, well, that's what's going to separate the winners from everyone else in the future.